Tucson Musicians Museum mission is to advance the quality of life in our communities across all cultures, generations, and tastes through preserving, advancing, and utilizing incredibly rich and diverse regional musical heritage and resources. We strive to help young people from all walks of life, cultures, and musical interests reach their potential and improve both their lives and the richness of life in our community through music. We achieve this through two paths: the operation of a free public museum, which each year honors influential inductees who have helped shape our musical heritage, as well as showcasing art and musical artifacts. Support and building the nonprofit mission of the museum. The Community Youth Outreach Program is a multifaceted program providing mentorship access to performance venues and education programs geared to teach young musicians the elements needed to succeed as a musician. Through charitable donations, the museum can help underprivileged young musicians obtain instruments they may not otherwise be able to afford, access instructions, mentorship, and performance opportunities.
Hi, and welcome to our fifth edition of Tucson Musicians Museum TV. Look for us the first Thursday of every month. I'm Ed Alexander. TMM TV is produced by George Howard and edited and mixed by Mark Jordan. Our June show features a man whose family has been supplying musicians for over 100 years in every conceivable instrument on the planet, and two of the driving forces behind the Tucson Jazz Festival. Here's a taste of the Tucson's renowned jazz scene. Our first guest and his family is known to just about every musician in this town and probably the whole Southwest. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Mark Lefkowitz of the Chicago Music Store. Morning, Mark.
Good morning. It's good to be with you.
Thank you. How long has the Chicago store been open in Tucson?
102 years.
It's you. How did that all start? Your uncle, your grandfather?
Well, my grandparents started the store, and they started off as a general goods store. They had jewelry, firearms, and camping gear, and clothing, and they pretty much bought and sold anything of value. And at some point, my uncle was asked to get some instruments for the Tucson High School band, so that was the start of us being a music store.
I had no idea. That's great. And so you grew up in the music store and all the rest of that. Now, the original downtown store had like 3 floors. I remember because I was in it when I was in a band. It took up a half a block. The best musicians and bands in the world have called on you. I'm sure they all have your cell phone. Give us a quick who's who and maybe a quick memorable story.
Well, I've got a great one. Billy Gibbons used to come into the store all the time when I was young. And we'd go up to the 3rd floor and he'd pick stuff out and I'd write it down on a notepad. He'd say, send me this, send me this, send me this. He says, ship it to Houston and I'll send you a check. Well, recently I came across a vintage collectible electronic drum machine. And of course I posted it on eBay. And I got a buyer who offered me way more than I had posted. And his initials were BFG. and the address was in Austin, Texas. Now, I knew Billy was from Houston, and I knew it was a long shot, but I sent him a note, saying, wow, this reminds me when Billy Gibbons used to come into the store and da-da-da-da-da-da. So he emails me back saying, "'Tis I, Billy G. Gibbons."
Yay.
And he shared some fond memories that he had of the store. And then he actually sent me a gift. He sent me 2 ZZ Top keychains and a little bottle of spices. Said he looked forward to having a taco with me next time he was in town.
I hope so. And
He
will.
The funny thing was when he got rid of his habits that he shouldn't have had in the first place, he stayed on the bus. So we liked him much better before he got clean. But
there's always the bus stories, and that's for another time. That's for your retirement, if that ever happens. So look, your family has sold and rented instruments too to Tucson local students, like you said, from Tucson High on for decades. You guys have always supported the kids.
Yes. Over the years, we've also donated a lot of instruments to the schools.
And you do lessons also?
Yeah, we do. Our East Side store on Speedway and Craycraft have some real nice studios. And now that COVID is almost over, some of the teachers are back to live lessons, so that's good. And we're looking forward to welcoming people back in the stores. We have been open the entire time because we considered ourselves essential services because people needed their instruments and they needed to have them fixed in order to keep their sanity.
Yes.
So we were essentially frontline workers along with everybody else.
So you didn't even get a break, did you? 102 years and you're still probably didn't take a day off. So if you don't have it in stock, you'll get it. But you can't have everything, but I'm sure you can get it for whoever needs it whenever they need it. How's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, we have 2 locations. One is still downtown, and I might correct you on your memories at the store. There were 2 or 3 locations prior to the one that you're remembering.
Okay.
We were at 105 West Congress for a number of years. Prior to that, we were in various locations around downtown before my time. And then our longest stint was in the big building they call the Queen of Congress, right, on the corner of 6th Avenue and Congress. We are now 1 block south of that building at 45 South 6th Avenue.
You're just around the corner, right?
Around the corner. It's a little version of the old store.
Yeah.
And then for folks that can't make it downtown, we have a store on the east side. It's 2 blocks east of Craycroft on Speedway. And it's a much larger location with more inventory, and we welcome people to come into either store.
Super duper. And we're waiting for more live music to come back in town so they can call you from backstage and say, "Mark, help me now." Great being with you. Great memories of my whole life here in Tucson musically. You and your family. I wish you guys all the best in generations to come. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you so much. And I have great memories of you also because I'm old enough to remember back to KTKT.
Right.
What year was that?
I started in 71, and I finished my career at the end of 20. So that was almost 50 years.
Wow, that's great. Well, thank you for everything. Enjoyed listening to you.
You too. We'll see you on the streets downtown, okay?
Oh, fine. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of young talent, Tucson Musicians Museum is having a summer battle of the bands for local groups ages 11 to 19. Winners get studio time and perform at the Tucson Musicians Museum 2021 induction later this year. So go to our Facebook for more information. Next on the Tucson Musicians Museum TV are 2 guys who had made their job to keep this town grooving. The Tucson HSL Properties Tucson Jazz Festival, President Elliot Glicksman and Executive Director Chris Dodge. Welcome, gentlemen. Here we are, the summer of 21, and we're going to have another show pretty soon, aren't we?
We made it.
Yay.
We made it, Ed.
Elliot, how long have you been doing the Tucson Jazz Festival as we know?
The festival started as an idea in 2014, and in 2015 we had our very first jazz festival, which was really headlined by Burt Bacharach. And we had an amazing executive director named Yvonne Irvin, who passed away a few years ago. She was
wonderful lady.
She did everything. And it was really her vision that laid the blueprint of having the free Martin Luther King Day concerts as our gift to the community, bringing in musicians to work with high school students and college students, because Tucson really has some award-winning, talented high school students that are like nationally recognized for their jazz musicianship.
Yes, the big band one and all that. Yes,
right.
Yep.
Exactly. Yes.
It's great stuff. So what is it, like a 5-day festival, a 3-day festival?
No. This festival goes about, it spans 2 weekends, and one of the weekends is the 3-day MLK Day weekend. So, and there might be one day where we're dark in the middle, where we might have little combos playing in smaller venues in town. But generally, there's jazz pretty much every night for 10 days. Exactly. And it ranges from, sort of jazz-adjacent things like Mavis Staples or Tower of Power or Sheila E., to jazz traditionals like David Sanborn and Christian McBride. It really runs the gamut. There's something for everybody at the festival.
And Chris, you're the guy who puts together all these groups, try to run them all down, do all the contracts and everything like that. Can you tell us anyone who you know is coming that you can announce for 2022?
Ooh.
You're getting a scoop, Ed.
Generally we do the announce in July, but tell you what, for you, I'll give you one name that we're going to bring in. Okay. All right, and it's in a little bit in the jazz adjacent world, but he's a legend, and he's so much of a legend that he created his own record label and has sold, I believe, 37 million records in his life.
Whoa!
And he's coming with his wife, who sings amazingly. And you go like, who is this? And he plays trumpet.
Would be
Herb
H.A.
Yes, it is.
Herb Albert and his wife,
Lonnie Hall.
Lonnie Hall.
Yeah,
excellent.
And you know what? They're going to come and do a concert in the second weekend of the festival. And I listened to live concert recordings from 2019, and man, they were sounding great. It's going to be just a fun night. And
he must like it here because he was in here before, so he's coming back for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was here about 4 years ago, so he's going to come back for us and just put on a great show. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
Boy. I didn't even know that.
Who's he? Anyway, who's that guy up there? So tell me, a lot of this has to do, as you mentioned, with young musicians, to support, to bring them along. And that's what the Tucson Musicians Museum is. One of our founding principles is to be mentors and to help kids who might not be eligible to get their instrument and to get some training and take them on stage and show them what it really feels like if you really want to be a musician and you really work really hard. So how do you guys help out with that?
Well, I have to tell you, Ed, you're speaking to my heart here. I mean, I've spent 20 plus years in education, in music education specifically, and I've done my rounds, and I know, much like the Tucson Musicians Museum knows as well, that like at the root of everything is how we educate our students. And from the beginning, the Jazz Festival has created opportunities for the world-class artists who come into the festival to be able to spend time in front of students. And not only do they get to mentor them and do master classes, but they get to share the stage. One of our amazing groups that we have here in Tucson, the Tucson Jazz Institute, has been featured pretty much every year. And every year that they come and play as an opening act, generally the artist that's there comes and plays music with them and does workshops with them ahead of time.
That's so amazing.
You know, it's just a wonderful experience to be able to do that. And as we're able to, and certainly as we're moving forward out of this time that we're in right now, we have bigger plans to be able to expand our educational program so we can reach even more people as we move into the future.
You guys, we are blessed to have great musicians, great educators and just great philanthropists like you guys to keep this going. Tucson is a great place for artists and musicians, and we want to thank you guys for taking it up about 10 more notches and making it all thrive here in Southern Arizona. We'll see you guys downtown in 2022, Martin Luther King
January
weekend.
14th.
Huh?
January 14th to the 23rd. Ed, we'll see you there. But I got to tell you, Ed, for a guy who's retired, you seem to be working pretty hard.
Well, this is not working. This is good stuff. They get to meet great people like you guys. Where can they get tickets, information, get started on this, and maybe even volunteer to help out a little bit?
Beautiful. Go to our website, TucsonJazzFestival.org. TucsonJazzFestival.org. You can find all the information you need there. The announcements for the announce of the season will be up. Look for it in late July, beginning of August, and we'll be selling tickets by the end of August, beginning of September.
Get in line now. Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to leave you now with some more music from a past festival and remind you the new Tucson Musicians Museum TV show debuts the first Thursday of every month. You can catch the past episodes on our website, Facebook, and all that, YouTube channel too. And to find out how you can support and participate, even sponsor the Tucson Musicians Museum, go to TucsonMusiciansMuseum.org. I'm Ed Alexander. Love you, Tucson.